this as a more regular thing, let me know because I would love to do that. So yeah, we're going to start light. Okay, best comfort rom-coms. I love a good rom-com. I know that a lot of people have made videos like talking about their favorite movies and stuff. I haven't done one of those yet. I would love to, but my go-tos are Love Actually. This season, luckily, it just has everything, and I love it so much. I love Notting Hill. I love How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, 10 Things I Hate About You, Bridget Jones. Do I think those films aged very well? Not really. Love Actually and Bridget Jones have a lot of body image jokes in them, which it's so weird to look at those films now. Anyway, they're just comfortable, and The Holiday as well. What else? I think for a more modern one, I watched Someone Great a lot. It has that sisterhood vibe. It's, yeah, it's a good one. Oh, I also love Sleepless in Seattle. That's a good one too. I think that those are my go-tos. Jewelry recommendations. Yes, I get most of my jewelry from ASOS, and I like the brand Reclaimed Vintage within ASOS. So that's where I get a lot of my stuff. And I work a lot with Hey Happiness, as you guys may know, and I love them, and I love what they offer, and I love Luna Girl Jewelry a lot, who I've also talked about before. So my necklaces that I'm wearing, I don't know if I can show you, they're from Luna Girl Jewelry. And what else am I wearing? My rings are half ASOS, half Kruidvat, which is a drugstore, but they had these blue thingies, and I just figured I would get them. They're going to tarnish in no time, but these rings, for example, this is from ASOS, and this one that kind of looks like a Cartier ring, but also not at all, is from ASOS. I just recommend picking out basics that you know you'll wear. Like, I love wearing big gold hoops. I like having a few thicker rings like this. I love having layerable necklaces, and with those I try to look for materials that won't tarnish, you know, so that's definitely something I would recommend. This goes for both silver and gold because I alternate depending on what my nose ring is. If it's silver, I'll wear silver. If it's gold, I'll do gold. So yeah, those are my recs. The next question is about preventing body odor. That's funny that you should ask because I started using a new deodorant, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have heard me talk about this, but a month ago, Wild reached out to me, and they wanted to send me their deodorant and collaborate, and I tried it out for a month, and I am so excited that I did agree to collaborate. So I have a discount code for what I'm going to show you. I used to have spray bottle deodorants. It's not a very sustainable option, obviously, and I don't like carrying around a bottle with me, and etc, etc. So this is what the Wild deodorants look like. Their mission is to have plastic-free items in your bathroom, and they sell sustainable, refillable deodorants and shampoos. So I got the deodorant, and this is what it looks like. They put my name on it, and it's so cute. But you open it like this, and that's the deodorant, and you can twist it like this, and it'll come out. See? But is your deodorant. Sorry, I'm not flipping you off. So, this is your refill, and this is just your packaging. And this is all cardboard, recyclable, and I got sent 3 cents. I got the pumpkin spice and vanilla one for the Halloween times. I have jasmine, mandarin blossom, and this one is also safe for sensitive skin, and fresh cotton and sea salt. And some people ask me on Instagram as well to give me an honest review, and this is not sponsored, but I have an affiliate link. Genuinely, I'm in love. I've been using it every day for over 30 days. I put it on in the morning and I have no problem with smells. Now, everybody is different, so I can't say for you that it'll work the exact same way or that you won't have to reapply it or whatnot, but I highly recommend giving them a try, especially if you want to have a more sustainable option and discover that they also sell minis so you can try it out, which I think is really cool. They have sensitive skin lines, and if you are a mama, they're safe for breastfeeding. I did not know that that would be a thing, but I think that says enough about deodorant options if it's not safe to use them if you're breastfeeding. But these are safe to use. So I'm really enjoying them. I personally, I don't really like scents that have salt in them with deodorant. I've used a deodorant that's similar to this before, and it was like a vanilla salty thing. I don't like salt in deodorants because sweat can have a little bit of that salty, scent. So I'd recommend getting a more fresh scent. Like I said, I used the vanilla pumpkin for a while, and while I like it, it's not how I want my armpits to smell. So I am currently really loving the jasmine and mandarin blossom one. They are vegan friendly, aluminum free, but yeah, I'm just really happy with them. I don't think I will go back to using spray bottles. If you do want to give it a go, I have a code that you can use. I'll put it on the screen, and you can get 20% off your order. I think the packaging is also really cute. They have pink, they have a Aurora Sky one for this season. They have like dog themed things, I think it was, and they have black, and I think it's cute. And they do the same thing with shampoos that you can just refill. And yeah, I admire them for that. And if you do use the brand or are going to try it out, let me know how it goes. Next question is menstrual cup experience. Okay, so I have one and I have used it for a while, and I love the option of having it because during the day it's fine. I think that it takes a lot of getting used to, and pursue, something like that, and it takes you a bit longer to get there. Also, if you fail an exam, you can retake it. If it takes you a bit longer to get there, that's okay. Yeah, but it just sucks. I don't have any specific tips to stay motivated. I think that the best thing you can do is be kind to yourself and give yourself a little bit of grace. And you're doing what you can in the circumstances that you're in, and that's what matters. Do you think the recent movement of embracing self-pleasure for women is beneficial? Yes. I don't know if there's a recent movement of embracing self-pleasure. I've never viewed it as a recent movement. I also don't know where you're from and what your media looks like. But I think that embracing self-pleasure for women is incredibly beneficial because it's taking control of your own sexuality and feeling empowered within your own sexuality and sensuality. And yeah, I think that's a very powerful and beautiful thing. Self-pleasure is so important. It is. Yeah, it's getting to know your body, it's connecting to your own body and releasing shame and guilt, and there's so much stigma around women embracing their sexuality. I think that that's really harmful. So I think it's a beautiful thing if we are embracing self-pleasure for women more and being louder about it. Yeah. Go masturbate, bestie. Anyway, how do you deal with stress and anxiety? Is there any advice that you would give to your younger self? Those are big questions. I have been in therapy multiple times throughout my life, and that has helped me immensely. So the things that I learned in therapy, I apply as much as I can, and trying to remember those things. So I do a lot of breathing exercises, I meditate a lot, I try to think more positively, and that sounds so like cliche and everything, but it is so important to keep in mind how your thoughts aren't always real, and they're not always truth. That's better. And to stop yourself in a thought instead of going, okay, but da 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 da. You know what I mean? I think if you know, you know. It's catching yourself before you spiral and becoming more and more aware of that. And that I've only learned through therapy. Catching yourself, being more aware of it, and then starting to listen a lot more to my body. What do I need? If I feel like I'm getting a panic attack in public, I'll tell a friend, and I need to be out of the, if it's a crowded setting, I need to be out of the crowded setting, so I'll just do that. Connect to my breath. If I'm stressed, I try to see how I can rest and lower my cortisol. Yeah, that's kind of the things that I try to do. I mean, sometimes it just is, and just to let it be is important too, and to just feel started to like not really knowing, because I feel a lot of freedom within that. Personally, if I had known from a young age what I was going to do later, and I would become that, then what is the next step? There's always going to be something else you'll be craving for once you do reach a goal or get somewhere, or so it's always going to be a little bit unknown. I think I am in a very rambly mood, so I'm starting to make less sense by the minute. I'm sorry for that, but I'm just answering this at the top of my head. So how I found my way around that, and still find my way around that, because all these things I'm saying, I'm still struggling with sometimes. Okay, I'm a person. I don't have everything figured out at all. I just sometimes I am scared about it, but I do know that that's because I'm in my head and I'm in my spiral. And when I get out of that again, I see the curiosity. I feel the curiosity. I don't know. I think that that's the main thing that helped me, is being curious and wanting to see what's going to happen, and just receiving it with open arms. I hope that answered your question, and that you have things that you're also excited for the future, and that you can focus on that. How to deal with the societal pressure from friends, family to have kids when you do not want to have kids or are unsure. I am not specifically at an age where having children is a topic that comes up a lot, so I don't think that I can say much about that. What I can say something about is that when I was 18, I was told that I was not going to be able to have children later because of heart issues, and then later I was told that it was fine and it was no issue. But when I was really young, they told me that I couldn't, and that shifted my view a lot about children and my perception of having children and what comes along with it. And I think that in general, it's bizarre to see having children as such a regular thing, because it's not, and a lot of people struggle with fertility and their life circumstances, even if they do want a child. And also a lot of people like here don't want a child or aren't sure. I think that the people who put pressure on you aren't thinking about those situations, and maybe for them it's very normal to have children, but I think it's important to stay close to you and your heart and feelings about it, and you know how you feel about it, or if you're not sure, but within that uncertainty, you know you're unsure. And that's the most important thing. I think it's really helpful to surround yourself with like-minded people, and so, for example, media, where they talk a lot about people who don't want to have children, or etc. Maybe that can take some of that pressure away. I think that that's all that I can say about it as a 23-year-old girl. Next topic is love and dating. Someone DM'd me a question, so thank you for doing that. There's a guy in class with me that likes me, if all the hints and signs from the last 2 months are correct. He was dropping hints throughout class on Friday about going out with me. To be safe, I decided to ask him if he was free to hang out. Like, not go on a date, just a little to get to know him, as I don't know him super well. And he freaked out and sort of ran away. And this is the second time a guy has panicked when I've asked them to hang out. Are guys just scared of girls making the first move, or is it something I'm doing? It's definitely not something you're doing, unless you are standing this close to them saying, do you want to hang out? I'm going to assume that's not what you're doing, so guys are just a little bit dumb. Sorry. But I also don't know your age, of course. This sounds like a high school thing. If a guy runs away when you ask them to hang out, they are so not the person for you. Oh, then you dodged a bullet. That's a problem solving itself. I really think that it's so admirable that you're approaching them and asking them out, because generally, from what I hear, they love it. I've asked people for their number, and later they told me, like, oh, I really liked it that you would do that. I'm too shy to do that. I wouldn't have done that because I'm too shy. It might be surprising if someone just approaches you and asks for your number or to hang out. In this example, asking someone to hang out is not a really big ask. I'm so sorry that they ran away, because that's so disrespectful. myself going into a 10-year age gap relationship. Have you ever been in love, and how can you tell when you are? I have, but it hasn't been reciprocated love. And so what I did was deny it to myself 99% of the time. For me, how I could tell was that I knew that I was lying to myself. At first I didn't, but deep down I knew. And I think that that's how you know when you are in love and it's not reciprocated, is when you're lying to yourself about it. And like, I can do friends with benefits. I don't mind at all. But I think that real love, how I expect being in love to feel, magic. I'm just a romantic, okay? So someone in the comments is gonna be like, oh girlie, it's not like that. I think that it'll just feel right, and there won't be doubts, and you'll feel safe and free. I think that real love is free. I feel real love within my friendships, right? And I feel so much freedom within my friendships and safety, and that's what I want to feel in love. And I also want to giggle and like swing my feet and twirl my hair a lot. So, how to get over your first love. I'm sorry you're trying to get over a first love, because those are just intense. And like I said, I haven't been in a reciprocated love in that way, but I've had to get over people, and after having been in love for the first time and having to get over that person, it's just really hard. Something to pull you through might be the thought that all those good moments that you had with that person, you're going to feel those things again, and those bad moments that you had that might have made the relationship end or whatnot, they won't be there as much. Like the good is going to outweigh the bad. If you're getting over a love where you're both in love and broken up, I think that it is just a matter of time and giving yourself a lot of grace. And I think it's a really beautiful time to focus on you and what you want, and to be with your friends and to lean on your friends. I'm not the best person to give advice on this because I haven't been through an actual breakup. But cry when you want to, eat that bowl of ice cream. Don't feel shame and guilt around that. But also try to keep leaving the house and block them on social media, and don't stay in touch for a while so that you can have some emotional distance as well. If that person is going to keep popping up on your phone, it's just going to take you so much longer, and I think it's going to be such a hard road, which it already is. But if that person is going to keep popping up, or you keep putting off giving them their stuff back, or you keep running into each other because you're in the same friend group and whatnot, it just makes it so much harder. Even if maybe blocking them is the complete opposite of what you want to do, right? You're doing it for you, and I think it's such a good thing to do. Next question is the pressure about having a boyfriend at a certain age. I've never had a boyfriend, and it's hard when it feels like everyone else around me has someone special in their lives. What's your advice for dealing with this? I feel you. I think that for my parents, for example, they were 18 when they met, and then they married, and that was it. Not at 18, but you know. So I recognize that pressure, I guess, of where's your boyfriend, where's your partner, why haven't you ever had a boyfriend? I find this a hard one to answer because I don't really mind not having a partner. I mean, I want affection, obviously. I've been at home for a year. I haven't been in a club in a year. I haven't touched anyone in a year. That's not something I'm ashamed about, by the way, which is why I'm saying it so casually. Because I was just very ill and had very different priorities. But that wanting comes up sometimes, you know, and I think that's a very normal thing. And it doesn't make it easier when people are putting pressure on you or keep asking you about it. So if it's bothering you when people are directly saying I'm not comfortable sharing that yet. It's all about setting your boundaries and speaking your boundaries, and that's really difficult and scary to do sometimes and vulnerable, but it's the only way that they're gonna know. If you don't tell them, they won't know, and I think that your friends mean really well and are just interested in knowing more about you and how that's going for you. But if you don't want to tell, you have to tell them that you don't want to tell yet, and maybe you'll tell them when you're ready, and you can tell them that. Like, I'll tell you when I'm ready. And they'll hopefully back off. Okay, let's go to the topic of friendship. Dealing with friendship loss. May I ask you if you have any experience on the loss of friendships? Do you have any advice on how to deal with that? I had a fallout with my best friends. They are my core people, and now I'm having a difficult time adjusting on the chances brought about by this situation. Thanks a lot for your videos. It really helps me a lot to feel less alone. Big hug through the screen, and thank you for your question and honesty and for watching my videos. I have had a very big fallout with friends, not too long ago actually. I moved away from my hometown, and people in my hometown that I was close with, I knew that we had different values, but that really came to surface in a situation, and my opinion differed a lot from theirs. Now, I do believe that even if you do have different values in some aspects, you can remain friends with someone. Will it be a full 100%? I can tell you everything and we think the same about everything kind of friendship? No. But people are people and they are different, and for me that doesn't mean that we can't be friends to certain points. But I knew that on a few very important matters we had different opinions. I let out my opinion on something. They did not agree. A whole group of people blocked me and started saying really bad things about me, and we're no longer in contact with any of them. In the end, it's all for the better, and I can see that now, but in the moment, I was devastated, and I cried so much because I lost a friendship, multiple ones, and I used to feel so safe around them, and I'm also a big people pleaser, so the idea of someone disliking me makes me want to throw up and crawl into a hole. So it was a very big test for me, and wish that I could tell my younger self that being sensitive is such a gift and it's so beautiful, and to be shamelessly yourself is the best thing you can do for yourself. The people who are on the same page as you will join the dance. That's what I would have told myself. How have you allowed yourself to be more vulnerable and real with others? That's the final question, by the way. I came to the realization over the years that, first of all, I just happen to be a person who doesn't really have much of a filter when I'm talking. But I've come to really see that as my strength, because I find that that makes other people more open with me as well. I also feel free and liberated when I just talk about my feelings and my experiences, and that's my decision, just like it is yours to share or not share. It's fine either way. That's the thing. I really think it's fine either way. If you want to share something with me or you don't, it's your call. And I really feel that way. And so it comes very naturally to me now. I think the thought of we are all just humans and we are so much more similar than we make ourselves out to be, that's a thought that really helps me, and we're all just figuring it out, and sharing helps a lot in that, because, for example, I get a lot of comments about how my videos make people feel less alone. We all feel lonely sometimes, or a lot of the times. We all deal with that. So why would I not share and open up that bit of myself and have that connection? Because it's what we all want, is that connection, and I like seeking that connection in sharing. And I feel so much connection when I share, because if I share something that's maybe a bit embarrassing or taboo or whatever, the reaction that I usually get is, whoa, I have that too, or I had a similar situation, or oh, I've also never really had a bad experience in being vulnerable and in backlashing like that. You do need to have boundaries and privacy, and don't get me wrong. I feel very free when I am vulnerable and just share openly. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I've always done that, and then I didn't for a while, and then I felt horrible, and I realized that for me it's just how I am, and for me it works to live with my heart on my sleeve. Those are all the questions. I think that I've rambled enough for now. I'm noticing that I'm getting a little bit insecure about the answers that I've been giving, because I'm so rambly, but I'm going to let go of that. I'm just being honest. Thank you guys so much for being so open with me, and on my Instagram I do a lot of these like catch up moments, and we talk a bit more about this kind of stuff in my stories. So if you want to, you can follow me on Instagram at fleur.peters. If you want to try the wild deodorant, you can use my code and I'll put it in the description. Once again, it's not sponsored.